5?
Yeah, it's my
Is it?
nephew.
So your sister has 5. Okay. So how was it? You got to keep all their attention. How did it go? What did you start with?
I actually have fun with them, so whatever they want to do.
You had a plan.
Yeah.
You had a plan, so that's key. If you don't have a plan, they're going to tear your crap up. They're going to rip the house up.
Yeah, they're pretty good kids, but like I just play with them, and if they're not doing nothing, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, let's do it. I like playing with kids.
I do that. I like that too. That's kind of how I am. My wife is like, "Oh no, you can't let him go over there." I'm like, "Why not?" Like they actually like to play with the Roomba. Those little circular vacuums. We have 2 of them. Now he has dropped it once on his foot, and he's only 1.5, and he was like pissed and cried. But he's learned to never set it down that way. He always lowers it slowly. Puts it in. Yeah, he's like headbutting her while she breastfeeds now. But so you had a plan, and that's literally the key is to have a plan. And if you do have a plan, it can go smoother. So what did you have them do? What were they doing?
It was nothing too crazy, just like
Movies?
Yeah, one likes to watch CoComelon.
Yes.
That little show.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was watching that. The
That
other
will
one,
keep their
the other
attention.
one would be on the game stuff.
That keeps their attention. That's,
Yeah, it's whatever they like.
that's a good way to do it for sure. Because it will keep attention. That's the thing. So I'm not connected to the internet. That's why. Then we say you have to use CSU Connect.
Yeah.
And you have to sign in as a teacher. That's what I'm missing. So CoComelon at least is good, and it's not like watching either South Park or The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it teaches like a good moral of the story. It teaches like how to wash your hands, how to eat vegetables. What else do they do? They have a new family, and the moms have a baby. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So how long ago did you watch it? This just came out.
Oh no, it's a long time ago.
Was there a black family? Because no black families when we first. Now there's a black family, there's a Hispanic family, and there's a. So they're just starting a storyline of all the different families and showing their customs and everything, which is kind of cool. You know what I mean? It's like kind of a acculturation practice or like learning. It's finally cold enough, isn't it? Was it hot when you got in here?
Yeah.
Like 85 degrees. So yeah, have you guys heard of CoComelon before?
Yeah, but I heard it was. They did a study on it, and it basically said like the scenes move too fast, so it can.
Cause ADHD.
Yeah, it can cause. It can hurt a kid's attention.
So what is the study? I'm curious now. I want to tell my wife this stuff.
I don't know. It just said that like the scenes move way too fast, and so it gives off like the same. They said it gives off the same like.
Bad energy.
No, it's like something like addiction, like like let me look it up. But
That's interesting. Is I want to tell her is they do watch it. They are addicted to it, especially that noise. So they always like the day you have it.
Yeah, I heard it.
yeah,
So
it said it could lead to children's experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, often leaving them dysregulated and a general discomfort with the speed of everyday life. The more children watch the show, the more the brains begin to expect that type of stimulation.
holy shit, can you say that to me?
Yeah.
Because we watch it all. They do watch it a lot, and you're right. It's kind of like the noise they get addicted to, the beginning, the like. They're not watching it lately. I guess is good. What if we switched over to that? Like her. Oh yeah, there's like this Ukrainian family that does videos now too. I forget what they're called.
Isn't that lady on Rachel?
Oh, Miss Rachel, yeah.
I heard about her.
You're right. Do they say anything good about that?
I heard that was good.
Yeah, she seems like gosh, I don't even know if I can just search Ukrainian family. That's just going to show war scenes. So that's one. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, they said it's hyperstimulating, so it acts as a drug and a stimulant. And
Really?
The brain gets a hit of dopamine from screen time.
So who published that?
It's a lot of different, this says Toledo area parent, but there's a lot of different articles on this stuff.
I know, I'm curious if there is an MD or LISW or one of them that does it. Interesting. So this is, you're right, another one. Apparently my kids like the bubblegum song. So again, having a plan going in with a group, when you have more than one or two to entertain, adults aren't a ton different than kids. We get distracted. Now we got cell phones all day, so you guys don't even have to pay attention in class. It's amazing you make it through. I would have failed fast because, like I said, I had a pager. Then by the end of college, I got a cell phone, but it did not have a full computer screen. Then in grad school, I had like digital research kind of saved me, but then we got Wi-Fi. When I went to law school, we had Wi-Fi. So all during class, I'm texting people, we're telling our shit, we're talking back and forth, not even paying attention to class, just always on the computer. And I actually failed out of law school, but some people do good with the multitasking, or we make it easy enough for you guys to pass. So it's like, when we get to the job scene, are we able to keep that up with like the distraction of cell phones? They say every time you text, it's like being tapped on the shoulder. Every time. It's like, and imagine if you're like in a job and you're getting tapped on the shoulder every 6 seconds or every 7 seconds.
And I had a teacher in high school. He said he read a study about like teenagers, and basically like they really can't, not that they can't be without their phone, but like they're less focused if they're not able to be on their phone. So he would give us like a media break between.
Let them have it.
Yeah, like
right.
for 10 minutes.
Because you're thinking
class.
about it. Yeah. You're like, I wonder what that text says. What's he doing? Where are they going tonight? Like, they want to have drinks, or they want, like whatever it is. Like, your thoughts curious and absolutely normal. But we literally did not have Wi-Fi or texting until 2003. So by then I was 25. Remember when my first girlfriend sent me a text? I'm like, what is this crap? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even like writing. I'm dyslexic. Why are they writing? Call me if you got something to say, something like that. But so wireless in class was also creepy though, just because I'd be in the middle of law school and could like watch a whole movie, and it's fun. I passed 2 years of law school, but I had 3 surgeries in the second year of law school, and I hated it because you read books this thick every semester, and you had to read every piece of it. So, Blake is signed in. Let's see here. So do you guys, yes, in creating a group, do you have any other questions that are related to leading that group? Because some people love it, some people hate it. Leading a group, you got to keep attention of minimum 2 to 3 people, and sometimes 50 or 100. I'd say the average group size is 10 to 12 for 10 to 12 weeks. That's like a very good cohesive group. That's like a normal group size. So, I want to show you Girl Circle though. This is where the content that I get is used. And they have a couple introductions to it. It's used all over. Of course, I'm not going to find it anymore by counseling. I think I have to use. Or I should have called it Girl Circle Group. And this is the Girls Circle Group Therapy. Here it is. So this is one we did at Lighthouse, where I used to work.
Where we meet every Monday, and then we have conversations, and it's a place where you can express your feelings and trust and have faith that they'll keep you and not judge you for your emotions.
Is that loud
We
enough?
learn how to respect ourselves and our body image, and how just to live life the way you want and not to let anybody change you.
It's important to have a program like this because most of us don't really like to talk about stuff, and they don't really feel comfortable talking about certain things with people, especially like family. And it's just really nice to have a program like this where, you know, it's confidential and people are understanding, not judgmental. It's really healthy for a girl.
For the past 4 years, I have been assigned to Creighton and Dunston Middle School as their school resource officer. As an SRO, it wasn't long before I observed the girl drama so many of us remember about middle school. I was investigating girl fights, cyberbullying, harassment, and just the plain mean things that girls do to one another in middle school. I knew I needed to take a proactive approach, but I didn't know how. After sharing my vision for a Mean Girls group with Sergeant Danya Amick, she told me about a program she had briefly heard about called Girls Circle. Girls Circle is a research-based model of structured support groups for girls ages 9 to 18. It is designed to foster self-esteem, help girls maintain authentic connections with peers and adult women in their community, counter trends towards self-doubt, and allow for true, genuine self-expression through creative activities and verbal sharing. The mission of Girls Circle is to encourage adolescent girls to hold on to their voices and stay true to themselves and enhance judgment and critical thinking skills for wise and healthy choices.
Since I entered education 11 years ago, it's been a personal wish of mine to be a part of a girls-only group which focused on the needs of this particular age. As you know, adolescents have issues specific to their age group, and I believe Girls Circle helps fill some of the need girls at this age have.
You can't always talk to people at home, or like there's not always a place to go to talk to people, and it helps a lot to have somewhere to go.
Programs like this help girls and all people see and know that they do matter. This is about building confidence and courage and commitment and respect for themselves. I've seen the girls at Dunston as a result of this program grow, both in their ability to face challenges in positive ways and proactive ways, to have that courage and commitment to show up every week, even though they know the conversations are going to be hard. These are not easy things to talk about, but they matter. These girls matter. And this commitment from us as a community doesn't stop today and doesn't stop with this work. I hope that they will turn to one another and turn to the resources in the community to continue to grow and be those models for those students and families that will come behind them.
The program has helped me change by, whenever I first started out, I would write things in a journal, and it got to the point where it wouldn't help me. And then I got chosen for Girls Circle, and I started talking about things, and it just gave me so much relief to talk about it to someone. When we first started last year, it was really hard for me to open up to people because I had trust issues. But I feel like Girls Circle kind of helped me open up more. And even now, I talk to my mom more, and I talk to my friends more about things.
It makes me feel good that she has people out there besides me to talk to, because usually mothers don't, or they think that we don't understand, when actually, I don't want to see her hurt, so I kind of try to help her, and sometimes that isn't what she wants. She just wants me to listen. So she has a bunch of girls that will listen to her.
Absolutely proud because, like she said, she didn't speak too much. She was closed up and, hid her feelings very well. And with Girls Circle coming into her life, she has opened up and definitely taken more of a chance to trust people with what she has to say.
I wish I had something like that when I was in middle school, because I think it really would have made a difference in every choices that we all make. So I hope you girls and parents realize just how wonderful an opportunity that you've had, and that really the main goal is we want to see them all graduate and walk across that stage in high school. Each one of them are able to make very good choices and decision-making skills. So my hope is that they do not enter the system, that they're able to take this, what they've learned in Girls Circle, and apply it to their life in a positive way. I am so proud of these girls. Each one of them have came so far. At the beginning of Girls Circle, they came into the room, and many of them didn't like each other. Many of them wouldn't talk to each other. I knew a few of them from being in the juvenile justice system and dealing with them on that end. And each and every one of these girls have grown tremendously in a very positive way, and I couldn't be prouder of each and every one of them.
There's another just quick 1 minute one, but talking about
Hey,
the
how you
curriculum.
Better yet, let me ask this question. What did you tell yourself this morning? What did you tell yourself before you clicked on this video? You see, when we wake up in the mornings and our feet hit the ground, we should tell ourselves, today is the day. Today is the day that I'm going to be great. Today is the day I'm going to set my future up for success. Today is the day I'm going to plant seeds. Yeah. What did you tell yourself this morning? My name is Christopher Emmanuel. Thank you for clicking on this video. I help individuals, families, and organizations understand their deepest why, how to build resiliency, the importance of meaningful connections and healthy relationships through interviewing, mentoring, coaching, interviewing, and fashion so that we can create those safe and supportive spaces for our youth to build stronger families and, most importantly, stronger communities. And you know why that's important to me? Let me share that with you. And put on your seatbelt. My daughter was involved in human trafficking through adoption. Yes, you heard it right. Human trafficking through adoption. But I fought, and now I have full custody. So I've taken on this role. Your career is what you are paid for. Your calling is what you are made for. We've been featured in the New York Times, the Atlantic Journal, preserved in the Library of Congress, and recently featured on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And I'm super uber excited to be a trainer here at the One Circle Foundation. So what are you waiting on? Go book a training and let's connect. I'll see you there. Peace.
So the One Circle Foundation has a lot of group materials that you can
I've been
use
getting
and
paid
provide.
$1,000
Oh, you get paid $1,000 counseling. Okay. It'll be on YouTube if you have to see anything. Have you guys gotten all your classes settled for like registration? Are they still in the drop ad period right now? Okay. I didn't know that. Somebody wants to add something else. I'm like, I feel like we've already been a week in, but I guess it's only been a half a week, really. Not as bad as it sounds. So I sent myself a email here about at Lighthouse. We would lead groups that were specific to trauma groups and then therapeutic foster care. And like he said, he had to work with human trafficking with one of his daughters. That's just scary in my opinion. I know in Ohio. Are all of you guys from out of state or are you from Ohio? Which state? Okay. I was going to say, do they have human trafficking as bad as we do in Ohio? I feel like Ohio is the worst for some reason. Is it because they said it's real close to Canada? I guess Detroit is too.
Yes.
And Toledo. So I guess you can group Detroit with Toledo with human trafficking. It's like a lot of people go over the borders. I don't know.
It's a lot of trafficking. It's really starting like pickup.
Really?
The eldest is like the kids. Now it's like teenagers. Now I feel like now it's getting to the point now where it's like it actually matters. Like it's really everybody. It's like more like out west and it's like out south. Yeah, it's pretty everywhere.
Yeah, that is almost scary. Is it mostly sexual, do you think? Like sex trafficking or maybe drugs also? Or both? Right. Right. So I have a training at Lighthouse with therapeutic foster care, and the groups we train parents to be foster parents with. The first one we start in the first few sessions, like defined by law. Abuse is more non-accidental infliction of injury to child. Like if you're beating them and using we would get the belt growing up, and that was normal, but now it definitely is against the law. Neglect is more failure to meet their needs, like food, clothing, shelter, medical emotional, and safety. So unless a child's health, life, or well-being are in serious jeopardy, the child cannot be considered at risk of abuse or neglect, and the state cannot intervene on behalf of the child against the parents' wishes. So usually, you know, like when I do the investigations, they have to find an actual. Sometimes they'll look at the pantry. Sometimes they'll, well, maybe like left in the car. We've seen some of those cases where they left them in the car. The mom or dad could be held liable for the kids being left behind in the car, especially on a hot day when they have some folks dying from it. But name some things that you guys think are abusive or neglectful, like the parents do that we don't even think of, maybe. You know what I mean?
Not taking them to school.
That is definitely legally regulated, kind of. But you're right. It takes them like a year to catch up with. Would that be called truancy?
Yeah.
Usually takes them like a year to catch them. You guys think of any other things?
Hearing but not listening to the child's emotions.
Definitely, and that would be a hard one to prove. You know what I mean? Like, it does have effects, certainly. But how do you prove it, like in the court of law? You know. But you're right. You're totally right.
We're not taking them to the doctor or like the dentist and stuff.
Right. Yeah, actually, well, did I tell you, was this yesterday? I don't remember if I had you guys. We had to take my son and the newborn for hearing. And he hears okay. It's just he had fluid in his ears 2 weeks ago when he was born. And she's like, okay, we're going to report this back to the state. I was like, to the state? You know, it just sounded creepy. I'm like, and I think my wife even said, like, what if we didn't make the appointment? I'm like, do y'all call 241 kids? And she's like, no. It's just like to ask you to come again. Because I guess deafness is a problem they want to locate before the kid can speak, because a lot of times they don't know until they speak. So they do all these hearing tests. They had to shoot like a radar in his ear. She had to breastfeed while they were doing that because the kid would get pissed about it. So you want him to be happy. So he's like sleeping, and I don't know how it worked, but he passed them. And I was like, report to the state. It wasn't that tragic, but it just sounded weird to me. So name some characteristics you think would apply to a healthy family or parent. So this would be like in groups. You may even go to this with the kids you work with. What would it look like if they are healthy? Right, I know. They show them all like dining on a picnic table, multiculturally outside.
Yeah, I would say like having set times to eat and stuff. I feel like that's very healthy.
That does help,
You
yeah.
know, like sometimes when it comes to single parents, like when your kids get older, they're like, oh, well, like I'm not cooking tonight, you can go get some cereal. And it may not seem neglectful, but
Right.
sometimes kids don't really know, like, okay, I have to eat at this time.
Part of me wonders if that's why they started fortifying cereals with all the vitamins we need, is they know that kids don't get food at the right time, so they just fortify the cereal with vitamin D and vitamin A and vitamin C, because I definitely ate a lot of cereal growing up. Not to say my mom was neglectful, but, you know, maybe I was hungrier more than she made food for us, or I was addicted to sugar. Could be all of the above. Anything else healthy? Like if you're
Maybe set aside time for your kids. You know how parents, they will maybe doing work and other
Yep.
stuff. You set aside time for your kids.
Yeah, that's a big one. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm the last one to have kids. They all want to tell me how to have kids, and we want to tell my wife and I want to tell them all to shut the hell up. You know, just like whatever, dude. Like, and then we've decided to pay my sister-in-law to help watch 2 hours a day while I'm at work. And they all wanted to dig in on our business. Like my little sister wants to find out if my parents are helping pay for it, and they're not. So we're proud of that. It is, I mean, it's a struggle, as it ain't cheap, but she's like, are you guys paying for it? My mom says, it's none of your damn business. So my mom's starting to get in on our side with it, but she's like, why does everybody care? Why Why do they get into the gossip? What? And it will help my wife's mental health. My sister-in-law just got over breast cancer. She, for whatever reason, right after she got the vaccine last year, she had a lump and everything showed up, and she survived breast cancer. But so it gets her back in the workforce. It gets her doing stuff that she needs to do and wants to do. So yeah, like self-care too. So healthy family and parents, like she does get that break. If we had to, we could sign up for the Y and they give you 2 hours of babysitting. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
So you go to the Y. I know they don't really want to, but they will watch your kids for 2 hours. You hope that they're giving them good care. I guess you don't really know until you know. They show them in church. Could some characteristics apply to both neglectful and or abusive and healthy families? It's interesting that picture they use for this question. I feel like they're saying you could force them to go against their will to a church that they don't want to attend, and that can be neglectful.
Even though it's a good intention.
Yes.
The way you did it.
You're forcing spirituality on them, like you're going to fast for Easter. You don't eat that sugar for 3 days during the Holy Triduum, or else, you know. So there can be religious abuse too. What's that? Yeah, I know. It's interesting they use that picture, but they were smart enough to show it's not a Catholic church or a straight up mosque or a Jewish temple. They show the church hat though. That's what gives it away to me. Mm-hmm. You know, you got the like fancy hats at church. Mm-hmm. Right. So it can be good. It could also be forceful and abusive.
I would say like making them like do sports and stuff.
True. Yeah. Yeah. That happens a lot. You're right.
Oh, my son plays football and has to play football. And like neglectful parents can keep their kids out of sports and not get them in anything active. Stuff like that.
There's a good balance there. It's like maybe they're forcing him to play football, although he had a legit head injury and like a concussion. They're like, no, you're going to get back out there and play, like real men play or something like that, you know. So that is interesting. I worked at Lighthouse starting in 2013, so now it's been 10 years. I almost forgot about some of these factors contributing to abuse and neglect. So characteristics of parent, lack of resources, unusual needs of a child, or excess stress. So those are all the things that could, you know, maybe there is a special needs kid and you do have to give them special attention, but you legitimately do not have the time to give that to them. So hopefully you outsource that or get a social worker or get some help. Maybe you both go to groups with that. People are still registering, so I want to let them know in my small amount of time that I can help register. Okay. I've never heard of Scared Silent. Have you guys heard of that? I almost forget, so now I want to look. Scared Silent. And I will give you the material from Girl Circle. I just have to locate it. Hopefully it wasn't on my computer that fully crashed. I've never heard of that. Okay, it looks like it is about abuse and neglect from the 80s. Whenever there's that picture coloring, it reminds me of 80s or 90s photos. Interesting. I had no idea. And that fuzzy noise in the background too. And that thing too. The FBI warning. So you can't sell this. Maybe YouTube will block us for showing it, but we'll see. How long do they show that? Oprah. I like her hair back then. That's interesting. She always
This
changes.
program contains mature subject matter, which includes strong language and explicit descriptions of child abuse offenses. Viewer discretion is advised.
So you are all warned.
He told me if I told anybody, he was going to kill me. My husband didn't have an affair. He went out and made mistresses out of my daughters.
It's almost not a day that goes by that I don't think about what I did with my children.
What is worse than a mother who takes her own child's life?
That poor kid. I really need to stop this. Why can't I?
He looks like a pedophile. Sorry.
I'm Oprah Winfrey. And like millions of other Americans, I'm a survivor of child abuse.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was only 9 years old when I was raped by my 19-year-old cousin. He was the first of 3 family members to sexually molest me. I kept the abuse a secret over 20 years. Every year in America, nearly 3 million cases of child abuse are reported. Who knows how many go unreported? We're here tonight to fight this national epidemic of child abuse and neglect. You're about to meet 6 perpetrators of sexual, physical, and psychological child abuse. And while their stories may shock you, they are frighteningly typical of the 7,300 cases of abuse and neglect reported every day. We hope the stories of these abusers and their victims can help all the children and adults among us who, for too long now, have been scared silent. Contrary to popular belief, most child molesters are not strangers. Practically all child sexual abuse is inflicted by a close family member or friend. A warning: you're about to hear some graphic descriptions of sexual abuse. But to stop and to prevent this crime against children, we need to face the hidden truth.
And in the beginning, probably up until I was 11, there was just really just heavy, petting, touching, and probably like oral sex. But then when I was 11 or 12, it started to become intercourse, and really frequently, maybe once or twice a week.
There were times in my mind when I couldn't wait for her to mature more, to be ready for intercourse. But at the same time, I refrained, thinking at the same time that was, it just can't go that far. I can stop it before then. And I couldn't.
Dell is 48 and a successful engineer. He sexually molested his daughter Eva from age 7 to 21, and his younger daughter Bonnie from age 9 to 14. Like so many families in which incest occurs, they appeared normal from the outside.
My dad was an usher at church. Mom was part of the PTA. It was really important to look good to everyone else because it looked so bad from the inside.
I really don't know when sexual attraction started. I know that teaching her to swim as a young girl, touching and feeling in a way that she didn't know what was going on yet. Once I realized that Eva would allow me to do certain things, then I could put it to her because her whole goal in life was to make Dad happy. I don't ever recall thinking of her as a child. In my mind, it was more an adult.
I was isolated from my brother and sister. I felt really alone. So when somebody gave me attention, that is my dad, it was sort of attention that I needed and missing, but also he had planned it that way. He planned for me to be needing that and missing that. He usually started asking for
we go out for a date, ice cream, movie, or something. And I always knew what that meant. If it was or something, trouble. Then he usually would want me to be in a skirt and change clothes into something that was easily accessible to him, which made me really feel sick because I felt like a slut. I felt like I was making myself open for something that I didn't enjoy.
Part of the grooming is to indicate that, you can't tell anybody about this because they'll come in and break up the family. And to a child, that's their world. So you don't need force to put them into a fear mode that's greater than you can imagine.
That problem. Like many mothers of sexual abuse victims, Dell's wife, Jan, was herself molested as a child. Since she couldn't bear to face the pain of her own abuse, she shut out the signs of her daughter's suffering.
I felt somewhere in the pit of my stomach that something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I ignored all the clues and the symptoms and the feelings. I thought there was something wrong with me that I would even think something like that.
The signs that she was not getting was the fact that I was a very sad kid. If this was such a great family, why was I so sad? Why couldn't I look people in the eye? It would walk funny. By the time I reached an age where I knew it was wrong, it was so bred in me. It was part of me was kept a child. I wasn't 21 somewhere inside. Still 7 or 8.
It wasn't until Eva was a young adult and had spent time away from her family that she was finally able to break 13 years of silence.
I took my sister out for coffee. I go, okay, do you know what it means to be molested? She went, Eva, I know. I'm being molested too. At that point, I was furious. It wasn't for myself that I could stop it. It was for somebody else. And we decided to wait till the next morning to say anything to my mom.
And I said, we can't stay in the same house for another hour. We just can't. I opened the safe. We own a gun. I took the bullets, the clip from the gun, because I didn't know what Dell would do. When he found out that we were gone, I thought he might try to kill himself.
And I just remembered her saying to my dad, we know what you've done. Damn you. And I can't believe that she ever, would come to our rescue like that.
It was like 500 pounds of cement was lifted off my shoulders. I felt like I was going to collapse, but I sat down and I said, thank God it's over. Now what do we do?
Dell pleaded guilty to sexual abuse charges and served 1 year in jail. During 3 years of separation from his family, he has undergone intensive therapy to help him recover from his abusive attitude. Dell's history revealed severe emotional cruelty at the hands of his stepfather, and like 70% of all men who molest children, Dell himself had been sexually abused by a neighbor when he was 6.
I came from a very strict religious family that didn't even say words like sex. There was just no way I could communicate that this 20-year-old boy next door did something to me out in the barnyard. So in order to make sure that nothing like that ever happened again, I had to be in control of my life and everybody around me forever. For years, Eva pretty well lived under my command. One of the things that I feel very strongly about as part of the recovery process for me is to gain trust again with my daughter somehow.
Do I think my dad's really in recovery? I reserve that. I don't know.
Changes were calling. Did I have to say goodbye? I don't know. It seemed right to me.
After 3 years of no contact with her father, Eva made the courageous decision to confront him for the first time about the scars he's left on her life.
I'd like him to know how much he's hurt me, how much he's hurt every other person in this world that I love. The damage that was done was to my self-respect, to my ability to have other people around me that love me. I don't let them. I always want to know what they want in return.
This meeting was really kind of like a last chance. What if all she sees is the same old dad? Well, I've said I'm sorry several times, but that's really, I wish I could say it in a way that she'd believe it and know it.
What do you want to be? Do you know what you want from me? And if we ever meet again, can we still be friends?
It seems like it's been a lot longer than 3 years. I have a ton of apologies. I mean, I don't know what you want to hear.
I don't think that I want apologies. I think I just want some understanding. Maybe some rationality.
It's not rational about what I did. You were the first person in my life that I knew loved me. Before that, in my own mind, I was really unlovable.
No, I feel that way.
I'm sure.
That doesn't mean I'm going to go out and molest my kids.
No, most likely, unless you get a lot of counseling, you'll go out and end up marrying a molester.
I know we have a lot of work to do. We're not going to finish it today. And it's not going to be suddenly, going and having picnics together all the time. It's not going to be like that.
I don't want to, draw a picture of what family life ought to be and expect everybody to jump into it. I just don't want to be out of the picture.
You're really lucky that you're still part of the picture.
This wasn't going to work out easy.
I see you being very vulnerable, and my first reaction would be to want to take care of you and make sure you didn't hurt. And that's exactly what I've done in my life, and I don't want to do that.
Well, we've all done our roles and taken care of each other in the areas that we learn how to do.
Well, I don't like the one I learned.
It's difficult to understand how you can love someone so much and do so much damage to them. My daughters had something taken away from them, and it was me that took it away.
I would say to anybody else who's like my dad, who wants to do the things my dad did, I know you have problems. Don't take it out on your kids, because it's not their fault. Don't create this hell that you live in for them too.
If you or someone you know is involved in a child,
I didn't know that about Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
I should have. I just,
She had a lot of stuff coming for her and her family.
So it makes sense. She has all those groups. I was going to say this is one other kind of group that you could lead, not that you have to lead, is a sex offender group, and those are scary. Like I have worked with men that had IQ lower than 70 that were sex offenders before, and even then I feel comfortable leading that. Like with enough training, you get okay, and understanding that they were also molested growing up, so that's kind of, you're trying to break that cycle. But so with these, we're going to get into the different groups that you could lead, and that's all. I'll put up your all's assignment. Remember, the first one is observing a group. I'll put that one up for you before Monday, I hope.
Okay.
All right.
Good job.
Yeah.
I did something very social worky.
You did?
Yes, so I work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Back at home.
Yeah.
And my friend, well, one of my coworkers was telling me they had twins. And they were telling me like they weren't starting to speak yet. And my mom basically told me about this program.